going on, everybody? Welcome to Apocalypse Movies. This is Comic Hero Talk, our bi-weekly show where we talk about all things comic book movie related, as well as a little bit of comics. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, as always, and I am joined by Keith Barnes.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Great.
How's it going, dude? How you been?
Good. Seeing lots of movies.
We just watched Apes War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
we didn't get to review it. Really good movie.
Great.
Just tips off the trilogy amazingly.
Yeah.
I know it's not comic book, but it's still fun to talk about.
Matt Reeves is going to be doing Batman, so
technically there are Planet of the Apes comic books,
right.
So this fits in with Comic Hero Talk. But yeah, such a great trilogy, and Matt Reeves is directing the Batman, so that's a way to talk about it. It gets us excited for the Batman. Definitely.
He said he wants to make a trilogy of Batman.
Yeah, he said he has ideas for a trilogy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense, especially what he did with Caesar. And he kept comparing Batman to Caesar. And the way he talks about Batman, he said he was obsessed with two things when he was a kid: Planet of the Apes and Batman. So looking at what he did with Apes and then what he can do with Batman is amazing, especially with Ben Affleck as Batman, because it's one of my favorite Batmans. All right, well, let's jump into our news topics for the day, our movie news segment. And if you've been paying attention to anything online, you know that D23 dropped something big yesterday that we can't see because we weren't there, and that is Avengers Infinity War footage. So while San Diego Comic-Con is now just a week away, Disney held their own little convention this weekend in the form of D23. The event focuses on everything under the Disney umbrella, which includes films, animation, video games, and TV shows. Friday brought some amazing new stuff from the animation side, but the highlight that easily goes to Marvel's panel and everything Avengers Infinity War. While not released to the public, a short teaser was shown Saturday afternoon, which was later spelled out for all of us fans through detailed descriptions. No word has yet been announced, but a trailer is expected to be shown and released next week at San Diego Comic-Con in one way or another. Directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, Avengers Infinity War is slated to be released on May 4th, 2018. Keith, what did you think of the footage description? You read about it, right? There's so many details.
I read about it, watched a bunch of different people's recaps of it, and wow. I think the scale sounds like I can't even imagine it.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be
massive.
The biggest comic book movie of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, we've been invested I definitely have been into the MCU.
Oh, it's
day one. I remember seeing Iron Man, the first one, with my dad back in Virginia.
Oh, nice!
Opening night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh
man!
Yeah.
I was in middle school or something, or no, I was in high school. That's a lie.
Yeah.
But I remember it coming out. I don't think I saw it in theaters actually. I probably saw it on DVD or something. Because when you're in high school, you don't control what you do. Like I didn't have the power to go to the movies on my own, so it was hard for me to do that. But trust me, I was watching it the minute it was on DVD and stuff. So
and I mean, just to imagine, just back then it was the culmination of where we're.
Oh my god! Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Never even.
We would see even Spider-Man: Homecoming at this point. Tony Stark interacting with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like that's enough right there. And
to get all those characters, Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, and who knows who else? Even some people that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and the Black Order. Thanos and the Black Order. Speaking of Infinity War, you have the Infinity Gauntlet comic book right there.
Yes.
I have not read that yet, but he's letting me borrow it, and I'm going to dive in. I cannot wait to start reading that. Is any of the Black Order in there? Because I don't know anything about them.
Well, that's the key. I don't know anything about them. If there are some people that he has, he's got a little kind of a group with him.
Okay.
And
they'll take elements of that from there. Well, there's an Infinity Gauntlet story. Isn't there an Infinity War story?
There is. I think it comes after this.
Comes right after that? Yeah. Okay. So here are some notes I made about the footage that they released. So we had the Guardians interacting with Thor in the beginning and the Guardians landing on Earth. You had Peter Parker riding on a school bus with his hairs coming up, apparently confirming Spidey Sense. I've been saying Spidey Sense is for sure around ever since Civil War because... All right, so when Ant-Man is on the shield, Spider-Man says, "Hey guys, how does he know that?
Right,
because his spider sense." And then when Bucky throws
the car, I brought that up
at him, and then he says,
our review,
and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Says,
and
God!
He can see it, and then he throws it back at him.
Right.
So I've known he had Spidey sense since Civil War. Yeah. They just didn't highlight it in Homecoming.
Yeah, at least not that we could really see.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting punched at and dodging the hits. That's Spidey sense.
One of the things Jake and I talked about is that in all the other series,
they just show it in like slow motion,
something
and all that, and then like
vision coming out of his head.
Exactly.
Or whatever,
so they just aren't highlighting it, which I'm fine with. You don't need to waste time like doing that when we've already seen it so many times.
Exactly.
You know, if they haven't done it before, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And then we saw apparently we didn't see, but we heard about that suit that Tony Stark shows him at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming, that he's wearing that, which makes sense because he needs some armor going into this battle. Exactly. How's he going to fight in this war? There was some details about Black Panther and Bucky leading armies.
That was
like, what?
Yeah.
That might be the most exciting detail to me.
Especially the Bucky part.
Like, what armies are, like, Wakanda armies? That would make sense because Bucky's in Wakanda.
That's true.
So are they leading all of Wakanda's warriors?
And certainly if...
that would be crazy.
Yeah. And especially with those two guys, they got to patch up,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, and that would be an interesting... I could see them teaming up in this movie because I think we're getting a lot of team-ups in this movie. You're going to have... certain characters teaming up with other characters, like we hear Doctor Strange and Ant-Man are teaming up. Like, how cool is that, So we also had Thanos punching Iron Man in the face and pulling down a moon onto the heroes, like breaking it up and having asteroids fly at all the heroes. You had Cap with a beard, Black Widow with blonde hair, and obviously there was a lot of Thanos posters, the Infinity Gauntlet on his hand, and a lot of the Black Order. So, any of those details stand out to you?
Have we ever seen Captain America with a beard? I was thinking about it.
Not in the movies.
I don't recall ever. I don't even think of comics. I'm trying to think of some images of him.
Well, there are. So, right now, Secret Empire. Current has him in a beard. So maybe not before then. Who knows though? There's so much comic history. Right. So who knows? But he does have a beard right now.
I heard that
in the comics. But yeah, this is crazy to me, man. The thing that stands out to me the most is Bucky and T'Challa leading armies, and then Thanos pulling down the moon.
Thanos.
That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts. He sounds like he's the real deal. Like, he might be the most formidable opponent we've ever seen in any comic book movie. Yeah, not just Marvel.
It's crazy. I had a theory though, because people have been wondering, are they going to defeat Thanos in this movie? He could possibly survive and be in Avengers 4, but I think by the end of Avengers 4, I think he's dead. Because this is the one thing that made me think that. Well, I guess Josh Brolin doesn't have to do a lot for this role. I was going to say, the fact that he signed on for Cable makes me think that, because a lot of actors don't juggle two franchises like that. But if he is Thanos, if Thanos survives, they wouldn't bring him back for a long time. So he could do both. I could see him doing that.
Read this.
I'm going to read that, and I'll find out. Maybe you don't want to spoil it for me. All right, well, moving on to something else that has to do with the MCU. So the Black Panther EW photos were released a couple days before D23, so before the week even started, as part of their Comic-Con preview, Entertainment Weekly dropped some beautiful new images for the upcoming, highly anticipated Black Panther film. Among the new photos were not only great new stills of Chadwick Boseman in costume and Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, but the vibrant and powerful people of Wakanda. If anything, EW's new images display that Ryan Coogler's film will be unlike anything we've seen from the MCU thus far. Also starring Lupita Nyong'o, Danai Gurira, Martin Freeman, Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, and Andy Serkis, Black Panther runs its way into theaters on February 18th, 2018. I'll go ahead and start this one off. Man, these photos are beautiful. Yeah. Like, I mean, of course I love the one of T'Challa and Killmonger going at each other in the battle. I've watched some cartoons that had Black Panther on it, and I know there's a ritual that you can challenge the King of Wakanda, and if you beat him, you're the king. You get to be Black Panther. So I'm assuming that that's going to happen. That's what I thought. He's going to beat him. Yeah. But we don't know. Yeah. But seeing them go head to head, I could totally see that, because I know. Well, I used to watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and there was a Black Panther episode, and Man-Ape defeats T'Challa, and then. Or he might have defeated his father, and then Black Panther has to get the crown back. Him. Yeah, and then he has to get the crown back. I could totally see that being adapted into this movie. Yeah. But just, I mean, Forrest Whitaker, all the colors, like, there's colors like Guardians of the Galaxy colors, but then this is different. This is like very different in this setting. So I think they all look beautiful. Yeah. Earth based, but like it still has that feel of being. Something it definitely else. Has. It's definitely something we haven't seen. You know, it's not normal, but it's still on Earth. Right. You know, it's not like just going to a random village in Africa. You know, it's something special. And that's the thing I'm looking forward to seeing is Wakanda, because I mean, being the most technologically advanced city in the world, or in this MCU world, man, I can't wait to see that depicted on screen. Yeah, it's gonna be something else for sure. All right, well, moving on from the MCU to the DCEU. So apparently WB has their frontrunner for Suicide Squad 2. So although David Ayer's Suicide Squad is arguably the DCEU film that struggled the most critically, Warner Bros. Is still moving forward with the villainous sequel, just with some new directors in mind. Rumors were afloat a while back that Mel Gibson would take over the sequel, but that seems not to be the case, as Nonstop and The Shallows director Jean Colette Serra has emerged as the frontrunner. Colette Serra has been on WB's list for a while, as he was originally attached to direct the live-action take of Akira, but WB seems to find him a better fit for the ever-expanding DC universe, and hopefully that comes with creative freedom this time around. Suicide Squad 2 currently has no release date. Alright, Keith, have you seen any of his movies? If so, do you think he's a good fit for Suicide Squad 2?
I did not see Nonstop.
Okay.
I did see The Shallows. I actually like that movie.
Okay, so I meant to do some homework before this and watch The Shallows. I literally have the DVD on my stand right now, but I didn't get to it because I wanted to have a better perspective on his films, but I've only seen a few of them.
It's not bad. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was well-paced. It's really short. I think it's...
I've heard mixed. Either people really like it or they just don't like it.
Right.
I've heard some mixed reviews,
I've heard that too, and I didn't mind it. Probably the fact that it was so short might be one of the reasons I liked it.
Because if you drag it on...
He gets right to the point. There's a little bit of setup with Blake Lively's character at the beginning, and then it gets right to it. And so if he does that with this, not make it a half music video.
Well, that's the thing. They can't go for that again.
Tell a story with some of these guys, or at least one or two of them. Give us something to root for.
I mean, they tried it with Suicide Squad, but you got to focus on Deadshot and Harley Quinn. Exactly. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have the Joker in it. Probably not. I mean, unless they make him the main villain, which is probably not the case. But focus. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they focus on Captain Boomerang because I really enjoyed Jack Courtney as Captain Boomerang in that. He could be like the comedic relief. I'm kind of split on this because on one hand, I really wanted Mel Gibson to do it. Yeah. I thought Hacksaw Ridge was arguably the best film of last year, and
I just watched that.
Really?
I just watched it a week ago.
Did you like it?
I was almost crying.
It's amazing, dude. So I've only given a few films a 10 out of 10. Like no more than 5, and that's one of them. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because what's wrong with it? Nothing, honestly. Yeah. And setting his personal life aside, I really wanted Mel Gibson to direct this movie because how awesome would that be? Of Mel Gibson superhero film, first of all, but with that cast, with Will Smith, Margot Robbie, like what he could do, it would have been iffy, but I would have been on board with it. But this guy, Colette Serra, I don't have anything. The only film I could really recall is Orphan, and I liked Orphan.
Oh, he did. That's a good movie. Yeah,
I liked Orphan. He has an upcoming movie called The Commuter. Okay. And it stars Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, and Liam Neeson.
Wow. Okay.
So we got to keep our eye on that. Maybe what if that movie's really good? Maybe that'll give us a little more optimism for Suicide Squad 2. But the thing for me is looking at his IMDb page. He's experienced. Yeah. He's an experienced director. They're not just throwing him some random guy in there. But the thing with this is, I don't think he's going to have as much control as a Mel Gibson would have.
Oh, see, that was going to be my key. The problem. Is just whoever it is, like just let him. He sounds like a capable guy. He's directed some pretty. We just talked about some pretty decent movies that. Let him tell his story and get out of their way. Let WB get out of the way. Let him. Let him direct this movie. So whatever direction he wants to take it in. As long as it doesn't veer off too far from what they're,
for sure. So that's what gets me worried though, is that I feel like they could push this guy around, and I don't like if they got a Mel Gibson, you're not pushing Mel Gibson around. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why they didn't hire Mel Gibson. I feel like somebody like Matt Reeves, there's going to be that compromise where he's going to work with the studio, but he's still going to be his film. Mel Gibson is going to be like, this is all my movie. Like you guys, if they try to go give him notes or something, he could maybe backlash on them. So I could see them going with the safe choice like this. This guy's the safe choice.
He is.
Mel Gibson is I don't want to say it would be boom or bust because I think that movie's going to be great no matter what, but they're taking a risk of working with Mel Gibson. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I got to think, they gave Patty Jenkins the freedom to do what she,
No, that's true.
She did direct an Oscar winner, but
that's true. Maybe that give you some hope because Patty Jenkins before Wonder Woman wasn't a big name.
No,
and she didn't have a lot of control. They could have pushed her around all they wanted. So maybe that's a good thing. And we know Warner Bros. Has a good relationship with this guy. I think a lot of his films have been under Warner Bros. And they've been eyeing him for other projects. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not nearly close to my first choice.
Yeah, it's not my I would have thought of.
All right, well, moving back to the MCU, Marvel is gearing up for a changing of the guard here in the next few years, and that will no doubt include Brie Larson and her Captain Marvel character, something that I predicted a year out before they ever announced it. You weren't around with the Apocalypse movies back then, but I had been saying Brie Larson for Captain Marvel like before it was ever cast, because
good call.
She was filming Kong Skull Island, and she put out, she was working out for that role, and I was like, I bet you she's gonna be Captain Marvel. And so I that's one that Emily Blunt. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have minded, but Brie Larson was my number one choice, and it came true. So, while her standalone film is probably the most anticipated solo outing following the events of Avengers 3 and 4, and it sounds like she won't be alone. First reported by Omega Underground and later confirmed by Deadline, Samuel L. Jackson will be reprising his Nick Fury character of 2019's Captain Marvel. This makes complete sense. Not only is including Fury alongside Carol Danvers just a smart play, but Fury has been the connective tissue from the beginning of the MCU, with similar roles in Iron Man 2, Captain America the Winter Soldier, and of course the 2 Avengers films. Plus, it continues Marvel's latest trend of partnering 2 main characters together. Captain Marvel will hit theaters on March 8th, 2019. Well, I'll go ahead and take this. I think this is great news, because I had always thought you have to put somebody in the Captain Marvel movie that makes people realize that, oh, this is connected to the MCU. Kind of like they did with Robert Downey Jr. in Homecoming. That lets people know without saying anything, just watching a trailer or seeing a poster, that it's connected to the world of the Avengers. Right. If you have Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury in the marketing, on the posters, on the front of the Blu-ray, whatever, it's going to let people know and communicate that this is part of the MCU, because nobody knows who Captain Marvel is, outside of the geek circles, you know? Like, I have to tell, like, I wear Captain Marvel shirts sometimes, or like, people ask me, like, who are your favorite superheroes, and Captain Marvel's up there for me, and people are like, who is that? Right. And they either think of Shazam, or they think it's just like Marvel because it has the name Marvel in it, so they think it's a male character, and I have to explain, no, it's Carol Danvers, she's her own thing. So this is one of my most anticipated movies, like, coming out in the next few years. Like, I cannot wait, and I think Samuel L. Jackson is a great addition as Nick Fury, and it makes sense because I'm assuming she's going to be like a S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot in one of these Infinity War movies. And then she gets her powers through something taking place during the Infinity War.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've been curious about. First of all, Brie Larson.
Yeah, great cast.
I'm a huge Brie Larson fan.
Dude,
Sacramento girl.
Ever since... Oh, she's from Sacramento, first of all. And ever since 21 Jump Street, I've been a huge fan of Brie Larson.
For me, it was Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I didn't know who she was back then.
Demon Head.
But after 21 Jump Street, and then after that, and then she started coming into her own with all these other roles, and then Room, obviously. Like, I wanted her to win that Oscar so bad, and she deserves it for sure. But what do you think about Sam Jackson co-starring?
Great call. And Nick Fury, we haven't seen a lot of him since
lately.
Since Avengers. Since
honestly,
the first Avengers.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
He had a huge role in Winter Soldier, but he had I would say he even he had more of a cameo
in Age of Ultron.
He had more than a cameo.
It was more than a cameo, but
it was a much smaller role. Yeah, it was a much smaller role. Yeah,
he's always the guy up until then. He's always the guy to incorporate the new people.
For
Iron
sure.
Man and Cap, and incorporate these new guys into the fold. So it'd be great to see him in this part. I was really, and maybe this could still happen, but in the comics, she's an Air Force captain.
Yeah, I still think she's going to be a pilot. I think that's so important to her character.
Yeah. So I hadn't thought of the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. You said maybe she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. That's interesting. But if she's in the Air Force, I'm kind of hoping maybe Rhodey would be in this movie as well.
Ooh,
he's honestly,
I probably would have rather have Rhodey.
Yeah, I would have done that.
But we don't know his situation physically. He might be hurt after Captain America Civil War, Right. So how do you think, because I've been wanting to talk about this. So in the comics, she gets her powers from a Kree super being. Yeah. He's Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. And that's how she gets her name. She becomes Miss Marvel, and then she eventually becomes Captain Marvel in the comics. So they've already said they're not going to do that because it's too similar to Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So how do you think they're going to go about her getting her powers? Do you think we're going to see it in Infinity War, or do you think we're going to see it in the solo film?
That was going to be my next point. It's perfect because her origin, they haven't done anything to set up Kree in the movies. I know they've kind of done it on the stupid TV show.
A little bit, yeah.
Dumb show. But
I don't watch it.
I don't like that show at all. But I stopped watching it probably 2 years ago.
Well, I watched like half of the first season, and there was never enough to keep me around. Didn't feel like it was part of the MCU.
No, not honestly. Not at all. So.
Like the Netflix shows feel like they could exist in the MCU. Exactly. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does not.
It doesn't at all. So
even though it does.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, because they've had Lady Sif on the show. Like,
right.
All the Agent Coulson
Coulson
obviously connects it, but the Netflix shows are like very vaguely in the MCU.
Yeah, but they still have that feel. And
oh yeah.
But this one, but the Kree do exist on this show. So, but there's, like I said, there's been no mention of them in the movies. So I wonder, like you said, it could be something else. Could it be related to the Infinity Stones? Or something that happens in Thor Ragnarok, or coming up, or in Infinity War. Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't they say they would introduce her in Infinity War?
So no, they haven't announced it. So it's not confirmed that Brie Larson is in Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
I think she's gonna have a cameo.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
she's got to.
I think Captain Marvel comes out before
the last
Avengers 4, doesn't it?
I think so. I think it does.
So it comes out in 2019. They both come out in 2019.
Yeah.
And how awesome is that? We're getting 2 Avengers movies 2 years in a row.
I know.
We're so spoiled as movie fans. But I think if her movie is before Avengers 4, then I think they're going to introduce her in Avengers 3, Infinity War, and she's going to have a small role, like something like Kobe Schmulder's in the first Avengers, like that small. But she's going to be a pilot, or she could either be part of the Air Force, because the armies of the world are going to have to take part in this too, because it's not just going to be the superheroes fighting this battle. Earth's going to defend itself. So I could see her just being an Air Force officer or a pilot for S.H.I.E.L.D., and she sacrifices herself somehow, and like you think she's going to die or something, but she obtains her powers that way, through one of the Thanos' Black Order people, or just through one of the Infinity Gauntlets, or something that Thanos does gives her power, I think.
I just thought of something. I remember in Doctor Strange when he's right during his accident.
Oh,
remember someone mentioned
no. They said
a female.
So a lot of people have speculated on that too. So it says a 22-year-old female hit by lightning that hit a chip in her head that controls schizophrenia.
Something
like what? That's what it was. And a lot of people were like, "Is that Captain Marvel?" I remember articles about that.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people trying to make that comparison. I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing that makes me think not is the schizophrenia thing. Yeah, unless she's damaged from her time serving in the Army or the Air Force, and she has schizophrenia now. And I don't know about that, but the age matches up though.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that maybe that's a new way of her getting her powers. Maybe that lightning bolt wasn't a regular lightning bolt.
It was something from.
Yeah, who knows?
Beyond, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm so infatuated with the Captain Marvel character, and I'm so happy that, like, going forward, like, eventually we're gonna not see Iron Man, Cap, Thor, Hulk anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so glad going forward we're gonna have Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, Chadwick Boseman, and Doctor Strange. Like, how awesome is it? Like, it's sad that we're gonna lose those previous Avengers, but it's so exciting to see a new team.
And maybe these. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, but a new team of Guardians maybe.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think eventually you have to switch it up eventually, and you could always, you could always have our older characters come back and back and forth. So we'll see. All right, well that's going to do it for our movie news segment. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the comics that I've been reading, and Keith will let us know if he's interested in some of those. So last week I read Avengers number 9 and Harley Quinn number 23. Avengers 9 was cool because it ties into the Secret Empire storyline, and this one focused on Jane Foster as Thor, because basically Captain America in Secret Empire, he got rid of all of the beings who can pose a threat to him, because he's the villain right now. We don't know if it's really him or not, but so he locked Captain Marvel in space, he locked Doctor Strange in a Dark Force bubble, and he sent Thor, who's Jane Foster right now, female Thor, to another dimension, another planet. And this is basically her. You get it through the perspective of an alien of that planet and interacting with her. So it was kind of like a spin-off of the main Avengers storyline, because it only deals with her. So it was pretty cool. But the next issue is going to deal with the actual Avengers dealing with the Secret Empire. And I like the Avengers comics right now because it's not your traditional Avengers. It's Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's Sam Wilson, Captain America. It's Lady Thor, and you have the Wasp, and you have Hercules and Vision. That's Hercules, the Avengers right now, and it's really, really cool. And I love Greek mythology, so I think it's so cool having Hercules. Like, I think they could introduce Hercules into the MCU, but
I wish they would.
Not his own movie, but just as a side character. You know, because I don't think a Hercules movie is going to make money at the box office, but you could have him be in the MCU somehow. You know, like have him appear in a Thor movie.
That's what I was just going to say. Thor would have to be in it.
Or a Hulk movie. Him and Hulk have a relationship in the comics, so I could definitely see that. Harley Quinn, number 23, love it as always. That's my girl. Just every issue that I read of her, I really, really love. And you get to see her face like some cool villains like the Clockmaster. What is his name?
Clock King?
Clock King. He appeared on Arrow and Flash a few times. Yeah. You get to see her deal with the Clock King on there, so that was pretty cool. But those issues were all right. But some of the issues that I read this week really stand out to me. Wonder Woman 26. You got to see her as a little girl on Themyscira with Hippolyta, and you get that like in the movie. So, and I love those. Those are some of my favorite parts of Wonder Woman, as her as a little girl. So I loved seeing that. Killer Be Killed number 10. It concluded this second arc going on in this story, and this is one of my favorite things going on in comic books right now. Killer Be Killed. They finally kind of gave us a huge hint as to what's really going on. If you've been reading that. So definitely check out Killer Be Killed. If you can, go find the trades. It's really, really awesome. But the main thing I want to talk about is Darth Vader number 3 because it is awesome. And I know Keith's a big Star Wars fan. And I want to let you borrow these comics because it's so awesome. The storyline picks up after Revenge of the Sith, and he's going to get his lightsaber. You heard me talk about this before. But in this issue, so he has to go fight a Jedi and take his lightsaber. In order to get his own light. So this is basically Darth Vader on his journey to get his red lightsaber. He doesn't have he doesn't just give in a lightsaber right away. So if you know anything about canon, if you read the Ahsoka novel, which you did, right?
I have not finished.
You haven't finished it yet. So in the Ahsoka novel, they revealed that the way the crystals become red, the kyber crystals, is when somebody who's channeling the dark side for so long, their anger and their hate makes the crystal bleed and it turns red. So Palpatine's rules, I don't know if it's a Sith rule or just Palpatine's rules, is you have to take it from a Jedi. And there's not a lot of Jedi living at this time because it's right after Order 66. Yeah. So Darth Vader basically has to hunt down this guy named Kirak in Phyla. And he basically looks like a Zeus or like an old Hercules with the lightsaber. Like, it's so badass. And he's just like chilling on this mountain by himself with this droid. Yeah. And he's like, I can feel this dark presence coming. And he's like, we got to get ready for it. And you get to see him and Darth Vader interact, and him and Darth Vader start fighting. It kind of ends in the middle of their fight, so we don't get to see the final outcome. But this is bad. I want to learn more about this character because he wasn't a part of the regular Jedi Order. Right. He was kind of on his own, and the only thing he did was train to fight. That's all he focused on, was fighting. So I'm like, I don't know if Darth Vader can actually defeat this guy, like, especially because Anakin's like so wounded right now. So it's crazy, but definitely check out this Darth Vader run if you're a Star Wars fan. I really, really love it. Any of those comics stand out to you? I'm guessing the Darth Vader one.
That one. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I definitely recommend. I'm going to let Jake borrow them, but I'll let you borrow them afterwards,
I got to read that. Because Vader's lightsaber, it looks, the one we see him with normally, it looks very similar to his old one.
Oh, yeah, so you might have thought that he got it.
That's what I always thought he just...
I mean, I don't know for sure because the story hasn't ended yet, so I'm assuming he defeats this guy and takes his lightsaber. Yeah. But, so Palpatine's basically like... And you know what's funny is, in the first issue, so the Stormtroopers are basically... They're hauling this huge ship that has all the Jedi's robes, lightsabers, and on it.
Oh, wow.
And Darth Vader basically infiltrates that ship, and he uses some of those sabers, but he has to defeat a Jedi and take his saber. Right. He can't just grab a random saber. Right. And he even tells Palpatine, he's like, you could have given me one of these lightsabers. You could have even given me Master Yoda's lightsaber, but you're making me go and earn my lightsaber. So, yeah, exactly. So, I'm so fascinated with this idea. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up Comic Hero Talk for this week. No Gio's rant because Gio couldn't make it this week, but we'll get to it next time. I want to thank Keith for joining me, man. Let them know where they can find you online.
I am on Twitter at KeithBarnes79 and on Facebook, just at Keith Barnes.
Yeah, and he's all over Apocalypse Movies now doing reviews and all that stuff, so look forward to a lot more Keith on here. And I'm Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at JacobBartley_, and on this YouTube channel, please subscribe and hit that like button if you like all things film, especially superhero movies and Star Wars, because we all love that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we cover it all. We cover indie films, Oscar movies. We just love film, so subscribe if you love film as well. And hit that like button if you like this video, and hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you thought of any of the topics that we covered today. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, take care.